Welcome to the FASS Assessment Tool. This instructional video is designed to assist you in using the tool. On the login page you will find important information about how the FASS Assessment Tool works. It is important to note that you do not need to complete the indicative assessment section in section 7 of the MAPS proposal system. After logging in, you'll be taken to the welcome page. The welcome page has two important pieces of information. Firstly, it has the university assessment policy and guidelines. If you click the link, you will be taken to both of these documents. It is important to note that the tool is organised around the university's assessment policy and guidelines. The second important piece of information in the welcome page relates to the current assessment types within the tool. These are broadly organised. If you click on one of them, you will see an introduction in 50 words to that assessment type and also the ways in which this assessment type appears in faculty courses. Once you have read the university's assessment policy and guidelines, you can click the tab at the bottom to move into the tool. This page has information on the background to the tool and also its operation. You can, for example, click a link to a written tutorial, access this instructional video tutorial, or learn more about the background and the process by which the tool was designed and implemented. An important feature of the FASS Assessment project was the Transforming the Experience of Students Through Assessment, or TESTA initiative. A link to the full TESTA report, which includes feedback from over 1,700 FASS students, is available on this page. It is important to remember that this tool is an adjunct to the MAPS proposal system. You are completing the assessment tool rather than the indicative assessment section of the MAPS course proposal, which is held in section 7. You should complete the FASS Assessment Tool after you have completed your entry in the MAPS system. This is especially the case if it is a new course. Existing courses will not require you to do more work in the MAPS system. Enter the code and the name of the course that you're entering in the tool. If you are still unsure about moving through the course, click the Help Getting Started button. This is the page where you will add individual assessment items to your course. At the top of the page there are 4 buttons. The first is a Save and Continuing Editing button, which allows you to return to the course and complete the task. There is a Return to the Course List button, which will take you back to your courses. If you need verification about university policy and procedures, there is a button that will take you to those documents. But also, if you're interested to find out more about the student voice, you can access the TESTA report from this page also. You will see that the course code and title, the last time you updated, and who the course coordinator is listed. In the top right-hand corner is the total hours display. This gives you the figure for the total hours your assessments have taken from the maximum required of 85. To commence, click the Create New Assessment Task button. If you click from the drop-down menu, you will find the various assessment types. In this case we have chosen Extended Academic Writing. You will see the number of hours a student should spend on the task is listed beside the assessment type, and then again you see the short description. If you want to know more about the assessment task, click the Extended Assessment Description box above. This section provides you with detailed information around the assessment task. This can include the type of work students complete for the fulfilment of the task, the types of skills that can be developed and enhanced through the use of this assessment task, the general pedagogical benefits associated with this assessment task, some of the issues that are seen to be identified with this assessment task, and it also provides you insights into student feedback from a variety of sources, mostly from Tester or Cat-Eye, relating to this assessment task. Finally, further resources for you to engage with are available at the bottom. While each assessment task has a generic title, you can enter a specific title that reflects the nature of the assessment task in your course. In this case, we have a research essay. Our next task is to nominate how many words the essay is worth. This will impact on the number of hours assigned to the task. As you can see, in this case we have entered 3,000 words, which shows below that the total numbers dedicated to the task is 45 hours. Having created the title, the next task is to nominate how many times the course will have that assessment task. In this case we've chosen a quiz, and I'm choosing 4 assessment tasks, 4 quizzes for this course. You will see that that then changes the base modifier below. And so the 14 hours represents the preparation for 4 quizzes. Some courses require that a specific assessment task must be passed if the student is to successfully pass the course. The next question relates to that. If a student must pass this task to pass the course, click yes. You will then be reminded that this is the nature of your request. An increasing number of faculty assessment tasks are group work based. If this is the case, check the box. Each task has a base time modifier. This modifier allows you to manipulate the hours that a student will spend on this task based on issues around difficulty. So for example, we currently have it set at 15. If we move it towards 10 hours, we see that the hours overall are changed. If we move it towards the maximum, you will also see that the hours change, in this case up to 51.6 hours. You will notice below the slider there is information on what this assessment task might look like if it was requiring this amount of hours. If we move back to the middle, you'll see you're provided with information regarding what the assessment type might look like at that level. If we move down towards the minima, again, we provided some information to assist us on what the assessment task might look like with that number of hours being completed by a student. Below the base time modifier is the feedback process box. This is where you enter the nature of the feedback that students will receive for the completion of this task. Below the feedback box is the additional information box. You can use this box for a number of purposes. It can be your own place for note-taking. If you're between sessions and you want to remind yourself about something for when you return, you can use the box for that purpose. It is also the place where you would put a justification if your course assessments have been flagged for further consideration by the Education Committee. So for example, we're on the portfolio assessment task page. If I increase the assessment task to bring it up towards 85 hours, you'll see there that it challenges the university policy around one assessment task being only worth 65%. If you click on that, you can then go down to the additional information box and put a justification for why you require the assessment task to fall outside the policy parameters. A flagging simply means that the Education Committee will consider it rather than simply looking at the report for your assessment tasks. If you're unhappy with an assessment task that you have nominated, you simply click Delete Assessment Task and it is removed from your list. For navigating between assessment tasks, a quick and easy way is to simply click on the small triangle, which will then bring you up to the assessment task. It's important to remember, if you're looking for an assessment task, it could be below the assessment task you're currently working on. So I've chosen my assessment tasks. The total hours in this case is spot on. There is a tolerance in the tool between 80 and 90 hours. If your hours fall between 70 and 80 or 90 and 100 hours, your course will be flagged for the further consideration of the Education Committee. Check to see if your difficulty modifiers are correctly positioned to land within the 80 to 90 zone. If your total hours are below 70 or above 100, the tool will not allow the course to proceed. You will need to either get it within the range that requires flagging or within the green zone of 80 to 90 hours. So now I've chosen my assessment tasks for this course. The hours are within the green zone. I'm happy with my selection. I've ensured that the modifiers reflect the difficulty of each assessment task. The next step is to move through validation and submission. The first thing I do is click the Assessment Validation and Justification button. This button gives me an immediate report on whether my course passes, requires flagging, or is rejected. In this case, you can see the course passes. Below that, you will see the information regarding the course that will also be provided to the Education Committee. When you finally validate this course, you will also receive an email with this information. It is then easy for you to cut and paste from the email to place the hours against the assessment task in your course guide. It is envisaged in a later version of the tool that this data will self-populate a course guide. It's important to note here in this list of the task the percentage of total hours versus the weight. The weight is the percentage out of 100 you might give to this task in the course guide versus the percentage of actual hours. So there is a rounding that the tool does just to make it more user-friendly. The tool will only reject the course if its total hours are below 70 or greater than 100. While university guidelines set specific requirements, in most cases these requirements can be overridden with the permission of the Education Committee. In this case, we see a flag because one of my assessment tasks is worth more than 65%. If you have a flag, this means that rather than getting a simple report, Education Committee will have to examine your proposal further. This is where you then utilise the justification box to provide further information to the committee on the nature of the course and the assessment. Remember, you will have also provided information against the specific assessment task in the additional information box. If you do have a flag, you must enter a justification in the box, or you will not be able to proceed further. Check the information on the validation page to ensure it is correct. If you are satisfied, then click the Submit Draft button. You'll see it will tell you that your assessments have been sent to Education Committee. You are then sent to the Faculty Graduate Attribute page where you need to complete the graduate attribute mapping for your course. Thank you for having watched this instructional video. If you require more information, the Need to Know section on the tool has both a copy of this video plus a written text plus some other materials that you can consult at your leisure. Thanks again.